Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. We saw at the beginning of the year how Shona Robinson was like a very, very impoverished sausage maker. She was struggling to make both ends meet. And so it is that there were massive budget cuts to every single department, except one, independence. But everyone else had big budget cuts, 200 million of social housing, for example. And people just knew they had to put up with it. They've badly done the economy. They've badly misjudged tax take. They've screwed up everything they were ever given. But people thought, well, okay, it's just a one-off. We'll get past this and we'll carry on. And things will get better. Like Mr. McCorber, something is bound to turn up. However, that is not the end of it. And things are about to get a lot worse. There are now huge budget cuts coming. Big, swinging cuts and possible increases in taxation to help fill the coffers to pay for all the mistakes that they have made. Financial mismanagement on a truly epic scale. And if you think it's bad now, just wait. Let's have a look, see what is truly going on in the weird world of Shona Robinson's head, where she fails to look after an economy. Here goes. So more huge budget cuts on the horizon for Scotland as the SNP and John Swinney are blasted for financial incompetence. Is anybody surprised? You have a woman with an IQ of 86 tasked with running the economy, a big complex beast of interrelated things, holistic, where affecting one thing affects five others and they in turn affect the first, and it all wires through one huge ball of spaghetti that is an economy. And at the heart of it, of course, Shona Robinson, a woman who can't operate a shoe. The Scottish Government's Permanent Secretary JP Marks confirmed that he was expecting significant spending reductions in Scotland as John Swinney looks set to announce his programme for government. His programme will be sit in your offices, stay very quiet, say nothing, do nothing, don't even turn the lights on. We've got to save money somehow. Swinney has been warned that he has to make significant spending reductions when he announces his first programme for government. The SNP financial incompetence being blamed for swinging funding cuts expected in Scotland. The new First Minister has already admitted that there is a cash crisis that he'll have to contend with. Well, say it ain't so, John. Say it ain't so. Look to your right. Who's sitting in finance? That's your biggest problem right there. Get rid of her, boot her out, and put Forbes in charge of finance. And you know what? Things might just change. Chief Civil Servant John Paul Marks faced MSPs at Holyrood today, where he confirmed that he had spoken to Mr Swinney about the financial issues facing Scotland. This includes a huge £1.9 billion funding gap. Now, I said all along, they've always been saying it's $1 million, then they upped it to $1.5 million. And I said when they upped it to $1.5 million, that's only the bit they're prepared to admit. Guarantee it's over $2 billion. They've upped it to $1.9 billion. That's what they're prepared to admit. It's probably nearer $3 billion, isn't it? Let's be honest. We know what these people are like. They can't help but lie. They can't help but put a nice spin on things. I bet you it's a £3 billion funding gap. He was questioned about media reports which claimed he told former First Minister Humza Yousaf that some of his proposals were unaffordable. Virtually everything. They couldn't afford to buy sugar for their coffee at the moment. He was asked about how many ministerial directions he'd received, which is when civil servants are ordered to accept plans even if they're deemed unacceptable. Oh boy, I bet there's lots of them. Mr Marks claimed this had only happened once. Claimed. When SNP ministers went ahead with continuing to build the Glen Rosa at Ferguson Marine, despite this not being value for money. It led to Scottish Labour finance spokesman Michael Mara to question whether we should have confidence that he was actually running the process properly about the affordability of government. I mean, these people are lunatics. They have no concept. They can't. I'm surprised they can actually run their own houses. Guarantee if they run their own households like they run government, they're all bankrupt, aren't they? The Permanent Secretary insisted that we're doing our best. I've got to say then, John Paul Marks, your best is pretty shit. And that he had been very open that I consider fiscal sustainability to be at significant risk and that needs active mitigation now. What he's saying is, country's bankrupt, they're not doing anything unless they change something really quick. then the lights are about to go out. He added that the Scottish Government's budget setting process this year was one of the hardest experiences of prioritisation required since devolution. Well, it's not surprising. 17 years of absolute bullshit spent, wasted, blown on things people don't want, don't need, have no even imagination for. They don't want it. They want NHS to work. They want schools to teach their kids. They want jobs. They don't want bollocks that you keep foisting on them. Mr. Marra pressed him on whether he had these conversations with Swinney and told him that there is going to have to be significant spending reductions when we hear this update from him as regard to his programme. Is that what we should be expecting as a parliament? He responded, John Paul Marks. He said, I've already done that, yes. The MSPs on Holyrood's Finance Committee also exclaimed their frustration with the government's publication of the medium-term financial strategy and tax plans would be delayed until June the 20th due to the change in First Minister. Why? The plans are out. The plans are there. No, that's not why they're publishing them. They're publishing them because they're bad. They are absolutely horrific. It means that MSPs will only get a week to scrutinise it. That's why they're delaying it. They only want to give them they're probably moaning that they've got to give them it a week. Committee chairman and that MSP Kenneth Gibson said, I think they will be disappointed across the committee. Surely sending something along the lines that the strategy will not come out till Thursday, June the 20th is not really acceptable from a scrutiny point of view. It makes it extremely difficult for clerking teams to get papers out to members, let alone for members to absorb it and to have any meaningful strategy in our last committee meeting on the Tuesday before recess. Spending cuts may need to be made in the next budget, along with another rise in income tax, with Mr. Yousaf already pushing one through in April. And you know what will happen as the income tax rises? The talent will leave. You will get your doctors, you will get your teachers, anyone who can do their job in England for more pay will up sticks and go. Why should they be punished even further? Because 86 has had a bright idea on how to run an economy. Speaking to journalists, a spokesman for the First Minister later said, I don't think it's a secret that we're under significant pressure. The First Minister himself has said that in the chamber. That's obviously been a reality for some time. We've had 14 years of austerity. That's the way it is. I want to do a number crunching exercise if someone can. I don't know who can. Find out in the last 17 years how much money the SNP has spent on independence matters. I bet it runs into the tens of billions. Think how much that would have saved the country. Think how much good that would have done. It's about time to bin the SNP. All you SNP voters are going to sit there and your services are going to be cut. Your taxes are going up. Everything's going to get more expensive. But you'll still put your pencil in your little X in the box with your pencil, won't you? I'm going to vote SNP. I'm poor. I've got no future. My kids aren't getting educated. The hospitals are closing. But they're the SNP. And I'm going to vote for them because I'm thick. Coming up. So there you have it then. You have your choice. Do you pay more tax? Or do you cut services? Or do you do what John Swinney's going to have to be forced to do? Both. Scotland is not going to be a good place to live after next year, is it? The taxes are going to be so high that everyone who can will leave, and with it all the tax take. So even by putting the taxes up, they'll take even less money. And of course they've got fewer services to spend it on. It won't help them. It's going to damage Scotland, perhaps irrevocably. Far from gaining independence, this kind of thing could actually lead to a closer dependence on the Union and maybe the end of the Scottish Parliament, since it's seen it cannot govern with any kind of confidence or competence or ability. Certainly the people of Scotland are starting to think so. It would be a shame, wouldn't it? Or wait, no, the other thing. Anyway, thank you very much for listening. Do please hit the subscribe button, ring the bell, leave a like, leave a comment, please share the video, and I'll speak to you later. Bye.